What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture. It is Friday. This is Friday Night Live. My first Friday Night Live in a real long time. My second live in a matter of a few weeks. So that's good. Getting back on track. I want to thank everyone for hanging out tonight. Gary, DJ Moonchild already in the building. So we got about an hour, guys. I know we're a few minutes early. We got about an hour because, yes, I have a family. I have kids. I need to pick up my son. So this show was going to run until 8 o'clock, although I would love to spend more time with you guys. There should be enough time to get through everything we want to get through. That is the main topic of discussion. These two things that are really hurting comic books right now, considering the market, the economy, etc., etc. We also have some Patreon questions to answer, Q&As, and some Patreon giveaways. GT Key, what's going on? That is long overdue for all of my awesome Patreon members. You know what it is. Tony's in the house. So we're going to be giving away this lot right here. We got an Eternals #1 Arthur Adams variant, as well as an unopened Thor. It's an unopened 3-book Walmart pack with the Thor #1. This is a variant. I don't know what the other 2 books are because it's not open. So this is going to be one prize that we're going to be giving away tonight. OB, what's going on? Jeff, happy Friday. And then we have this beautiful Gabriel Del Otto Venom variant. This is Venom #29, The Origin of Codex. That is beautiful. So I already randomized 2 Patreon member the winners and picked 2 Patreon member winners through the randomizers for these prizes. We're going to be giving those away tonight. Spider Dudes in the house. What is going on? Guys, if you have not checked out SpiderDudeComics.com, their link is in the description below. I highly recommend you go check out their online shop. They have an amazing selection with solid prices. And if you use the code JOURNOS10, you can get 10% off of your orders. All right, so go check them out for sure. All right, guys, I've been trying to get back into the swing of things with Comic Book Canon. Right now, they are happening every Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I should be there to do props or flops this Sunday in just a couple days, so look out for that as well. Oh, man, Hal, what's going on? Yes, Cinco de Mayo. I hope everyone is safe. Do not drive drunk. If you're in the Sacramento area, hit me up. I'll come pick you up. For real. JG, what's going on? So, again, we have a topic of discussion. 2 things that are hurting comic books right now. We also have some Patreon Q&As that I want to get to. So, this is how we're going to do this. Shadow Rat. I'm going to do this. I'm going to answer a couple of my Patreon questions. That'll give time for more people to jump on in. And then I'm going to do one of the giveaways. All right. And then from there, we're going to get into the main topic of discussion. And then to close the night, I'm going to get into a few more of our Patreon questions in the last giveaway of the evening. Christopher Johnson, what's going on? So let's just get right into this. I'm going to pull up my questions here from my Patreon members. And guys, if you are interested in supporting the channel, you could be a member of the channel for $1.99. Again, I know these last 4 months have been tough for me, but I'm getting back on track. The YouTube channel membership, I try to do prizes every other month through the randomizer to give away. And I also will get back to doing early access videos for members. The Patreon membership is only $3.99 a month. That is still active. I've been doing giveaways every other month for that as well. A bit better giveaways. And we do a monthly Q&A and early access videos as well. And I do want to try to get back into doing some of the other things we did, like hashtag Journal Monthlies covers. If I get back into that, I'll talk about that with everyone as well. Christopher Johnson, what's going on? All right. First question. Like I said, we're going to run through about 3 questions before we get into the main topic of discussion that is a juicy one that I just can't wait to get into. All right. This first question is from Justin. Justin asks, if you were invited to collaborate on a new run of Spider-Man comics, but you could only take on one role, which would you pick, artist or writer? What would you do differently with the characters? Okay, now I am an artist, but I can never do comic book stuff. I'm a realist. I would definitely be a writer or an editor. I know that wasn't one of the options. I'd be a writer, and this is what I would do. I would get back to focusing on classic Peter, which I think they tried to do with No Way Home. One More Day and Brand New Day, where they erased everything and started over, but they left everything hanging. They left decades of stuff thrown out the window to this day. And over the last 10 years, they've been teasing us, thinking that they're going to bring it back, but they haven't. That's what I would do. The first thing I would do is address the One More Day, Brand New Day. I would address it and I would put a close to it. And I would stop playing around with Peter and MJ and get back to business. Also, I would start to age Peter again a little bit. Now, as you've seen here, especially with Peter Parker in the comic books, they're trying to bring him back down to this kind of younger self. I would age him more. Why? Because you still have a lot of middle-age readers. You have Miles Morales that speaks a lot to these younger generations. Age Peter a little bit. He should be in his early 30s right now. That's okay. It's okay. And you can keep him in his early 30s for 20 more years. I mean, literally. I would age him a bit, get some more maturity back into him, kind of like we seen happening in the 80s going into the 90s. Getting married, dealing with the relationship issues, etc., etc. Yeah, those are the two biggest things that I would do. Now, aging him doesn't mean doing what Dan Slott tried to do and make him a junior Tony Stark. Even though I like how it ended because he ended up becoming it all came crashing down. I mean, that's something that Peter would allow to happen because of with great power comes great responsibility. He is a brilliant mind, right? So that's what I would do for sure. Justin's in the house. Raising L, what's going on? We are asking your questions right now before we get into the main topic of discussion. Two things that are hurting comic books right now. But again, bear with us because we got some awesome questions to go here before we get into the main discussion. So hang around. Sagi. Patron Sagi asks, what are your top 3 favorite covers in your collection? Doesn't have to be valuable. Sagi, I cannot answer that off the top of my head, truly. I mean, I'd have to look at my 25,000 comic books, but they would probably be all Spider-Man covers. I can easily put Amazing Spider-Man 300 in there. I can easily put Amazing Spider-Man 39, the first Ramita work. I could easily put Amazing Spider-Man 129, first Punisher, Gil Kane. So it's got to be Spider-Man stuff for sure. Haven't watched. It's great to see you, Bill. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's been a wild ride for me, man. I'm glad to be back. I am. All right, let's get into a couple more questions. Then we're going to do one of the giveaways, and then we're going to get into the topic of discussion, guys. The next question is from Peter. Peter Thornton, what are the biggest trends you already see in 2023 in regards to the overall market? Well, Peter, I've been dealing with personal stuff since December, and I'm just getting around back to it all. I can't really deep dive into that question right now because I haven't been paying attention to the market for the first time in years. But I will say this. I've been paying attention enough to kind of answer a little bit of that question in our main topic of discussion. So these two things that are hurting comic books are going to kind of discuss a little bit of that. One thing I will say, though, even with the economy the way it is and the market doing what it's doing, FOMO is alive and well. FOMO is alive and well. We still get an announcement. We still get a trailer. We still get a Spider-Boy, and people are going crazy, spending crazy money. That's for sure. So that trend has not changed overall for, certain situations. All right. All right, let's do one more question before we get into the first giveaway and then the main topic of discussion. Another one from Justin. Justin asks, if not for comics, music, and sports, three things I'm definitely passionate about, what hobby do you think you would find yourself enjoying? I dabble with pyrography, right? Wood burning and woodworking when I can find the time. It's quite soothing and relaxing. Well, I'm an artist, drawing for sure. I actually like wood building as well. Like, I helped build this room. I built my comic book cabinet desk back there. I would love to be able to get more into that, like doing, do it yourself home improvement stuff. Also, I would like to, like, hiking and exploring nature is another thing. And also, I know it has to do with music, but drumming, like not drumming on a drum set, but like, percussion drums. So I love a lot of things, guys. A lot of things. All right, guys. So Fenders 57, that's a good one. All right, let's get a giveaway going on here. And then we'll get into the main topic of discussion. We got an Eternals #1 Arthur Adams variant in an unopened Walmart 3-pack with a Thor #1 variant. And like I said, I already picked the winners here from my Patreon members. And again, I really appreciate all my Patreon members that stuck with me. This last 4 months, I'm going to be completely honest, I lost over half of my Patreon members because I was debilitated by life, and I'm not mad. I understand. It was, I wasn't providing the services that I need to because life hit me so hard. So I only have 12 Patreon members right now, but this is what I say to you 12. You guys are like my warrior squad, man, and I appreciate you sticking with me through it all. So that's why I feel I needed to come out here and not give one prize away, but two. So I did the randomizer, and the winner of this pack right here, we got the Eternals #1 Arthur Adams variant, Thor #1 variant in an unopened Walmart pack. The winner is Peter T. Peter, congratulations. These are yours. Now, here's a funny thing. I have a slab that Peter won from Comic Book Cannon that I still need to send him. So for Peter to still be sticking with me, I love you, man. These are going to go in that package too. And I promise they're going to go out. So Peter, thank you so much for the continued support. You've been supporting the channel for so long. So let's set those aside. Remember, we do have a couple more Patreon questions and one more giveaway. All right. But we're going to do this. Actually, you know what? I'm changing it up. We're going to do the other giveaway right now. I am going to do the last few Patreon questions at the end of the show, but I'm going to do the giveaway right now. I can't wait. I personally can't wait anymore. So the winner of the Venom #29 Origin of Codex, the Gabriel Del Otto variant. This is a limited to 1,500 from Scorpion Comics. The winner is Tony T. We got Peter T and Tony T winning tonight. Tony, I can't express my gratitude to you. This is, Tony, you do so much for this community. And I don't know if you won. You've been a patron supporter for a long time. I do not know if you have won a Patreon giveaway yet. So I'm very happy this your way, Tony. It is an absolutely beautiful book. Definitely a 9.8 candidate. This black is absolutely amazing. So Peter and Tony, I thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for all the support. These books will be coming your way. I do believe I have both your addresses, but if not, I'll definitely be in touch. So good stuff. All right, guys, are we ready for this? We got to get the algorithms back up too, because I haven't been here for a while, but I mean, we got over 20 people here tonight, and you 20 something folks are what it's all about tonight. So let's roll. All right, here we go. Journal back in effect. 2 things that are hurting comic books right now, guys. I'm taking the jacket off for this one. Taking the jacket off. Rocking the Bulls shirt. Yeah, I know. They're not in the playoffs no more, but hey, now it's the Warriors' turn. 2 things that are hurting comic books right now. We are in a very, 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 very interesting state. Okay. We know that the economy is hurting right now overall, and we know how this has been affecting comic books. The last 3 to 4 years has been crazy. Pre-COVID, the comic industry was booming in many ways. Many ways. Comic books were going up in price on the secondary market. Keys were going up in price. We had the MCU going strong, which was bringing in more and more attention to these characters. We had the manga market dominating, the trade and graphic novel market dominating. All areas of the comic were doing solid. Now, of course, floppies, on the primary market, there's been a question mark there for a very long time, especially with the big 2. Then COVID hits. All right. LCS is shut. The world shuts down. And we in the comic book community, especially, because, you already have Amazon. I know I did a lot of, when everything was going down, I was like, I got a, high risk son. I got autoimmune issues myself. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my shopping on Amazon or whatever. I'm not going to go out if I don't need to, all that. Be safe. There. We weren't able to take the LCS experience outside of the LCS. Yeah, we have eBay. We had eBay. We've been had eBay, but it wasn't the same. So what happened? The birth of the online live sale. COVID made this happen and it took off. And that led to apps like Whatnot, which obviously dominating the market still in so many ways. All right. Now, what happened at the same time? Fair market values, so to say, started going up, up, up. People want to argue that it was stimulus money. People had money to blow. I beg to differ on that. I always say that it's not that people had all this excess money. Oh, they have unemployment stimulus money, although there was a lot of that. It was more that people weren't spending their money, whatever money they had, on other things. Again, people weren't taking vacations. People weren't going out to the movies. People weren't going out to eat dinner. Everything was closed down. What am I going to spend my money on? I'm bored. I'm sitting at home. So those people that collected comics that weren't dishing out $100 a week, taking their family to the movie theater, $100 a night, taking them out to dinner. I got a couple $100 extra in my pocket every week. I'm gonna sit on Facebook Live or IG Live and buy some comic books. I'm gonna even sit on eBay and bid up this auction because I got the money. And what happened simultaneously? The MCU shows. So we saw what started happening. White Vision, right? I mean, look at the female Loki hype. I mean, we had a Thor annual book that had Loki shape-shifting into a dragon and then into a woman for literally one panel and then back to himself. And people were paying $20, $25 for this book plus because it's the first appearance of female Loki. No, it's not. Remember, if you guys watched this live I did or the video I did, I took my copy of that and I threw it across the room. Just to show you guys how ridiculous this is. Stop. I should find that clip and play it right now. It was amazing. It felt so good. Blasphemy, right? I always said, even if you buy comic books out of the 50-cent bin, treat them all equally. But this book, I threw across the room and I was happy about it. You had a lot of things happening, guys. A lot of things happening at the same time between spring of 2020 and basically spring of 2022 for that 2-year period. Because during the spring of 2022, when we started seeing what was going on in the economy. We started going back to work in the fall of 2021. People started spending money again other places. We started spending money on gas. I remember I filled the tank in my truck once in a matter of a year and a half. No lie, because I worked from home. We start spending money in other places. And at the same time, the threat of a recession, inflation, which I'll tell you, inflation as a whole is a load of BS. And I've talked about that recently as well. And I might talk about it a little more tonight because I have something to get to. You want to know what these two things are that are hurting comic books right now, right? So, oh man, Hal, I appreciate you. That means a lot. That means a lot to hear that. Oh man, thank you so much, Hal. Anyways, I know you guys want to get to what these two things are, but all this context is very important. People start spending money elsewhere. The value of the dollar is hurting. Cost of food has more than doubled over the last, 16 months. It's crazy. It's crazy. We aren't spending as much on comics now. What's that going to do to supply and demand? It's going to bring the demand down. It's demand is going down. It's going to bring the value down. Obviously, demand goes down. People aren't willing to pay that high price. You got to drop the price down. That's basic supply and demand. That's happening right now. But I'm going to tell you something that happened during this time, during that, if you want to call it the COVID bubble, that is impacting this. If you understand economics, it's called the bell-shaped curve. All right? The bell-shaped curve is so extreme right now because of these two things. Lyric's in the house. What's going on? Yeah, Lyric. No. So I'm not denying this, and I don't want to get too sidetracked because this is not the point. I'm going to tell you right now. I was one of those people. I got laid off from my job, and they tried to deny me unemployment at first. I was a sports director at a school. I still had my other position that I was teaching distance learning. I was getting that money. We got stimulus money, and I was getting the unemployment with like the 600 extra a month. It was 600 a month only for 6 months, and then it went down to 300. I had a lot. I was getting more money in unemployment in stimulus than I was making. But here's the thing, Lyric, that I want you to understand. I wasn't going out and buying comic books with it. You know what I was doing? Paying off bills that I couldn't pay before. Buying my kids clothes that I couldn't afford to buy them before. I had 3 months overdue PG&E bill when I got my first stimulus check. We bought a new vehicle, a used vehicle, obviously, because our old vehicle was trash. So this idea that we're getting stimulus money and people that were getting unemployment just went and blew it on comic books is a fallacy. And I'm not saying that nobody did. I'm sure, but the percentage, okay, even if people got stimulus money or unemployment and went and blew it, how much percentage of those people do you think went and bought comic books? Very little. Very little. I bet you more people that got stimulus money and unemployment bought $200 sneakers than they did comic books because there's a higher population of people that spend money on sneakers and fashion than there is people that buy comic books. Anybody that was using their stimulus money or unemployment checks to go buy a fresh copy of Hulk 181 is null and void because those people buying comic books with their stimulus money didn't move the needle. Didn't move the needle. What moved the needle is people that already had money, that were already making good money and decided to spend more money on comic books because they weren't spending their money on other things. So, yes, I agree with the first part of your statement. People had extra money to spend. And that's the bottom line of the point that I'm trying to make. Yeah. I mean, Larry said every single thing went up. And again, you look at people having more money. But I'm talking specifically of comic books. The bottom line is yes, people have more money. There was more money going into the hobby. All right. I'm not going to sit here and to micro analyze and say that you know struggling people or poor people were out spending their unemployment on comic books, because that becomes a stereotype and it becomes a generalization that I don't have the data to speak on. I can speak on, though, the fact that yes, people were spending their money differently during COVID. But anyways, let's get back to these two things. Affecting the bell-shaped curve so much is how comic books were priced and how we responded to them. All right. Now, let me explain what that means. And this is the first things: overpricing back issues. That's number one of the two things that are hurting comic books right now. Overpricing back issues. When COVID happened and everyone's outlet was online sales or even eBay, whatnot, IG live sales, Facebook live sales, the real-time auction allows people to get into FOMO, fear of missing out, and it's impulsive. They are betting on the impulsiveness of the real-time auction. And if anybody has even sat on eBay when an auction is counting down and you're sitting there, you have the screen pulled up, and right as it hits 5 seconds, you're boom, 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 and you end up going like $30 over what you thought you were going to cap out at. It's real. It happened. The fair market value of standard back issue books started to increase when you look at recent sales. And I've also said this too. eBay, when it comes to standard back issues, I'm not talking about key books, standard back issues, you always pay a premium on eBay. And I'll give you an example. If I'm finishing a run and I'm reading it, right, and I need one book, and I'm like, man, I'm on ASM number 349 or something. It's not even a key. I could drive, if my local LCS is 40 minutes away and I could go get it for $3, I might pay $6 from getting on eBay, $6 plus a few dollars shipping, just for it to come in the mail so I don't have to drive anywhere. There's always been a premium on single back issue books on eBay. You could drive to one else, likely find those books for cheaper. The online sale changed that. Now, you didn't only have auctions, you had claim sales. You had claim sales where raw sticker prices were higher, because honestly, if I'm somebody that's having a sale, if I'm a store or an online shop or whatever doing the sale, and they can sell at that price, I'm going to price it at that. If I knew I had a book that I could price for $5 in store pre-COVID, but right now I could price it at $10 and somebody's going to buy it, I'm going to do that. And why can I sell it at $10? Because of the few things that I said. Even though it's not an auction, there's the mentality of missing out on that book if somebody else claims it. I've been in auctions. I've been in IG auctions where, they're putting it on the wall. Okay, we got this book going up on B that's $10. And it's the first person that puts claim B. Comments. Like, I've been there waiting to see something that I like come up. And if there's 50 to 100 people in that sale, it's hard to even get a claim in. Same mentality. I'm going to pay a couple extra dollars because I want that. And then you know what else affected the kind of fear of missing out, or the I need that book? Real-time recognition. And it's real. It's real. To be seen in a chat, and especially if you're in a chat that you frequent weekly or whatever, and you got the seller saying, oh, what's going on, Journos Comics, or, what's going on, Obi-Wan Shinobi, welcome back, and then you got actually a community involved too, where everybody that's in there is like, yo, Journo, what's up? Good luck bidding today, or good luck claiming today, whatever. You feel a part of something. That changes the mentality in our brain and how we process purchasing books, and it affects our purchasing decisions. All right, now how is this hurting comic books? Because we didn't just have basic supply and demand dictating fair market value for books during COVID. It was a different beast. It was a different beast. So when everything started opening back up, and you get comic shops opening back up now, and I've been to many I've been to comic book shops. Where have I been? I've traveled, I haven't traveled out of California, but I've traveled from like up in the Shasta area down to the central coast of California. I've been in probably a couple dozen shops. Everybody is pricing raw books like it's an IG claim sale. And there's two reasons this is hurting comic book sales. Because one, I already explained this, and this has nothing to do with COVID. Random back issues that aren't keys are not going to sell the same way in an LCS as they do on eBay or online. They're not. For the most part, especially if you're in California where you have healthy competition, like a $500. I go into comic book shops and I literally see, fine copies of random 1990s, not even legacy runs of Marvel and DC stuff for $9-10. I'm telling you right now, nobody's buying that right now. Nobody's buying it right now because they're not even buying it on eBay right now. They're not even buying it on these IG sales as much anymore, or whatnot sales. Outside of your big sellers, because FOMO still exists and all those psychological decision-making, the psychological effects in our decision-making and our purchasing decisions, that's still happening. You got big sellers and you're a part of something with 100, 150 people in a claim sale, it's still happening. But as a majority, because if you look at the data, sales are down, fair market values are down. Because the sticker price for random back issues didn't reflect an overall true fair market value over the last years. And I've always said this, fair market value, not only is it a rolling average that can change from one day to the next, a fair market value is different depending on the marketplace. A fair market value for online is going to be a different fair market value for your LCS. A fair market value on eBay is going to be different than a fair market value on an online shop or an IG live sale. Just checking out some comments real quick. Love the discussion going on right now. Buy cheap lots in good condition, Moon Knight. Yep. Let's see what's going on, Gary? Let's see what Gary had to say here. Best way to buy books on eBay when buying one filler book, see if the seller has any other filler. Yes, I've done that too. Absolutely. That's a good tip. Hit them up. Hey, man, Can you combine ship in and throw? Do you have this book, this book, this book? Absolutely. Endorphin rush, Christopher says. Absolutely. Yeah, Lyric, and that had to do too. That was a big thing with the online auction too, and whatnot, and that hype and that endorphin rush and that psychological switch in our decision making. Okay, so guys, so to continue what I'm saying, back issue comics were unnaturally inflated in fair market value because of the last few years, because of everything that I just said. And you have something going on right now. If you're looking at specifically LCSs have a decision to make. Do they want to sit on units? Ought to bring the price down to find a market equilibrium? Do they want to have a 50% off sale? And I've been learning it myself with run fillers, unless they're high grade, I am not expecting more than $2 to $3 for a lot of these books that were selling for $5, $6, just a year ago. And I'm okay with that, because hey, we buy what we want to. Okay. Before I get into the second thing, which this is bigger. This is at least it's more kind of controversial. There's always going to be a differentiation in fair market value depending on the marketplace. The online auction and the online claim, that real-time sale is here to stay. And it's going to hurt the LCSs more and more. It is. And I've had people say, oh, well, there's always going to be LCSs because I want the experience. Da-da-da. Yeah, me too. I hear you. But guess what? You're getting aged out. Convenience is key. Brick and mortar is dying across the board. And what happened with COVID didn't help it one bit. So the LCSs really need to reestablish their back issue bins. It was good. Business was good while it lasted, maybe. But if you're not changing your sticker prices, at least have some 50% off sales or 30% off sales or something like that. And see if you can move inventory and start getting people to be comfortable with buying again and collecting again. Because I don't believe this is going to be like this forever. I don't. Get them excited about it again. Bring them into the stores. Get them out from in front of their phones and computers and laying on the couch, sitting on whatnot all hours of the night. Get them back into the shop. I know a lot of folks are doing it with Free Comic Book Day. Here we got A1 doing it. We got Collectibles. We got Comic Command Center having sales this weekend. So happy to see. Yeah. So again, if you guys are out there working at an LCS, owning an LCS, that's my advice. Don't you have the right as a seller and as a businessman, you have the right to maximize your profits. You have a right to make money, but it's about that long-term health of the business and long-term relationship with your customer base. Have some sales. See how your customer base responds to that and see if we can get them back in. And remember, you may think you're losing, but I guarantee you those books in your inventory that you had priced up at $7, $8, $9, $10 over the last couple of years, you probably had them priced at $3 or $4 before COVID. So that means you're probably bought them for a lot cheaper than that too. So if you're still making a lot of money. All right. Quick reminder that I do have a couple of more Patreon Q&A questions to get to before the end of the show, but we're going to go into the second thing that is hurting comic books right now. Eric, they do need to reinvent themselves in many different ways, for sure. Who's talking about love bombing? I will say this. When it comes to keys, because that's why I say don't get it twisted. When it comes to key books, there's definitely a lot more opportunities on eBay and even on some of these whatnot sales or live sales to get good deals on keys, where the LCSs, I think, are primed for premiums on keys. You see how that works? The LCSs should focus on a premium on their keys, and they can always negotiate. But when it comes to the back issues and the inventory, keep it, keep it fair. Don't overprice them. Move that inventory. All right, the second thing hurting comic books right now. Pricing raw books at graded values. One of the big, and look, this ties in to number one. Pricing raw books at graded values. Quite honestly, guys, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. And remember what I just said in number one about people being able to charge premiums for random books, random raw books, and that endorphin rush and the change in psychology around our purchase decision when it's online or in these IG live sales or whatnot sales. That right there had people willing to pay graded prices for raw books. And this is where, again, I'm not even going to sit and be mad at any sellers. I'm mad at the buyers. What the hell are you guys doing? You're in a claim sale. Look up freaking cover price. Look up eBay. Look at the value and say, nope. I can find this on eBay for X amount, 30% cheaper, raw. You guys did it. Buyers did it. You sat there and paid great value for raw books. And you made people think that that was the fair market value because they're selling. But it's not organic. It's not organic. Now, it blows my mind. Like, even at the height of the COVID boom, it blew my mind how willing people were to just spend money when resources are right in front of your face in terms of what a fair market value is. And I've always talked about this too on my channel about what is organic fair market value? What does that look like? Well, it's whatever anybody's willing to pay, right? But I've talked about this, how we allow FOMO in this psychological, it's really a socio-cultural thing of the gimme, me, I need it now. We don't allow values on the market to reach a organic fair market value when there's emotions tied into our purchasing decisions. So if you look at how we started paying graded value for raw books, what does that do to the perception of buyers in the market a week later, a month later? Because what do you look at? You look at precedent. And what is precedent? Recent sales. So now you're looking at recent sales to say, oh, well, this raw book in high grade was selling for $50 for a while. And then all of a sudden it started selling for, 90 to 110, $100 somewhere around there. So now if, it started selling, peak was $115 high sell. Now, if I get it for $98, that's a deal. I'm thinking that's a deal. And so now we didn't allow supply and demand to change the value. We allowed emotions to change the value, because all it takes is a couple of sales, especially for Silver Age, Bronze Age books that, again, I say this a lot. Even if you look at the stock market, Starbucks stock, Apple stock, there's hundreds and thousands of shares being traded and exchanged every day. And that's why you see the market doing like this. You can look at things that are mass produced, the market value is on them every day, because hundreds or thousands are selling every day. You get an ASM 129 or even like a smaller key, like maybe a Wolverine #1 limited series. How many of those are moving a day on eBay or on, in these groups? 3, maybe, not even at most. I can guarantee you, I can look at Wolverine #1 right now, and there ain't going to be a sale every day over the last month. That's how minimal these sales are, to where only a couple sales can skew what people perceive fair market value to be. So if you just get a couple of sellers selling a raw book at what was, say it's a high grade raw, and that raw book is, said to be a near mint copy, and that near mint book was selling for $230, graded in a 9.4. And you get 2 raw sales that sold for $200 and $220. When just a week before they were selling for $90 on average, the last 5 sales, so to say. What are we going to do looking at the market now? Oh man, I don't want to miss out on this. If I get one for $190, it's a deal. And now these sellers that are pricing their books before they go on their sales, they're looking at recent sales. Not only am I going to price my book at the average fair market value of the last few sales at 190, 200, 210, I might even bump it up a little bit. I'm going to put mine at 220, 225. And that's what has happened over the last few years. So, why is this so bad for comic books right now? Because what we're seeing happen, and don't get me wrong, this ain't across the board. And don't get this twisted as people are preferring raw books over graded books. All right. But because the value, as people started overcharging for raw books, rightfully so, because people were buying, right? So, hey, as soon as people started pricing raw books at graded prices, what do you think that did to graded prices? But now it's tumbling back down. And now I'm starting to see a trend, especially in high grade, especially for older books, copper, bronze, or silver. You're starting to see now, usually on the market, if you see a graded book in a certain grade, slab book in a certain grade, lose 30% of value, that raw book around that same grade usually loses the same amount of value. But it's a little lopsided right now, especially with higher grade books. I am seeing more high grade raws fall less, where high grade slabs are dropping a little quicker. And I think, again, it's because it was so inflated. It's not because people are valuing raw books more. It's just because right now people are pulling their money out of the market. They're saying, nope. Not only am I worried about paying that much now, not only do I don't even know if we should have ever been paying that much. I don't know if I can pay that much. And it's hurting comics because it's doing this. Things are doing this. Okay. Not only are they distorting fair market value, not only have they created a non-organic, they've created pesticidic, if that's even a word, I just created that word if it's not a word. Because it's been sprayed sides. It has not been an organic. Allow supply and demand to truly allow a price to go up or come down on a natural bell-shaped curve. People are freaking out right now. There are people that are very, very worried. I wouldn't say freaking out. Let me change my lingo. Let me change my verbiage. But it didn't need to happen like this. It happened like this. And we can stop it from being so extreme even right now. Now, again, I'm not even blaming sellers. They priced it, y'all bought it. I'm not blaming them. Now, was it right? Is it ethical? That's a whole other conversation. I'm blaming all of you that bought these books with this FOMO, with this high, with this I need it right now, because it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up. Now, I was a proponent of the market not crashing. The market's not going to crash. Comic books are healthier than ever. And I still believe that, and I stand on it, because essentially, if you look at it from stock market terms, the market's crashed. Anything that drops more than 30, 40%, like, and you have a large handful of options that have dropped that much, you can look at that as a crash. All right. But I don't. For comic books, because again, the comic books aren't the stock market. Comic books didn't crash. In the same essence, if we're using finance lingo, it's been that high in the first place. And because comic books move differently than stocks do on a market, or even as a real estate market moves, this dip, this correction, this crash could have been avoided and could have been a lot less extreme if we just didn't allow FOMO and our emotions to get involved. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. How do we allow these two things that have been happening over the last few years? How do we start to correct it in a way that doesn't crash them more, so to say, or doesn't allow sellers to come back and keep this behavior up? And the bottom line, stop buying from emotions, period. Stop thinking that you need everything right here, right now. You are not a 5-year-old in a candy store. And it's that simple. It's that simple. And I don't mean to ridicule y'all, but I'm going to say it again, because I'm back and I can't help it. I speak my mind and I can't lie. Fake friends tell you what you want to hear. Real friends tell you what you need to hear. Guys, I'm going to keep telling you what you need to hear. You're not 5-year-olds in a candy store. Calm down. Especially on books that start blowing up because Frogman showed up in an episode of freaking She-Hulk. Nobody is going to care. I know I'm yelling, but it's all for fun. Did you guys miss me? Guys, stop. We know how it goes. We know how it goes. And if you want to FOMO out, please start freaking getting involved in pre-orders and buying these books under cover price. This is how we stop it. You see a book, you want it that bad, do your research. And if you pass it or you wait on it and it doesn't come to you, it wasn't meant to be. I'm going to give you guys a prime example. I had a chance to buy, I believe it was a 9.2 CGC Uncanny X-Men 266 first full appearance of Gambit right before COVID hit for about, I think it was like $150. 9 point, did I say 9.2? Maybe it was a 9.2 or a 9.4, anywhere from 120 to 150, somewhere around there. And I didn't do it. That book, between a 9.4 and a 9.2, over the last couple of years since then, doubled in price. But guess what, guys? Right now, it's almost dropped. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? I'm going to pull it up. Oh, no, I'm going to pull it up right now. Let's pull this up right now. Uncanny X-Men 266. All right. I was mad at myself. And I could have easily paid more than that. Let me tell you what a 9.4 is selling for right now. $165. That book is pretty much back down almost to where it was when I thought I missed out. I could have sat there and paid $300 for that book. And I didn't, because it's okay. It's okay to sit there and do research and come back to it and miss it, because it's going to come back around, guys, more often than not. So how do we solve this problem without making it worse? Control yourselves. That's all I got to say. Even if you're in it for investing, control yourselves. That's the biggest takeaway from this right now. And speak up to people. And also, don't be afraid to negotiate. If you think a seller is selling a raw book at a graded price, call them out on it. You don't need to be an a-hole. Call them out on it, though. Show them the proof. Show them the data. So, guys, this is something, that, of course, that is part of a bigger issue that I'm going to keep talking about, because I'm a new person today, and I'm getting back into this, and I'm still trying to figure it all out and how to have great power and great responsibility moving forward in 2023 with the way the market is right now. I'm going to make that clear. So, guys, Phil, thanks for hanging out. Nice, Steven. All right, guys, I got a few more minutes before I go, because I do got to go pick up my son from work, and I wanted to hang out longer with you guys, but that was a great discussion. I appreciated all your guys' insight. But for all my Patreon members, I do want to get to your last few questions before I go today. It's really important to me, because, I love you guys for supporting the channel and doing what you do. It's really, like I said, it's came down to those last ones. Stan, you guys are like family to me, and I appreciate it. So I got a couple from X11 Bravo here. X11 asks, you know the old saying, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. What do you see yourself doing that would make you happiest? And how do you personally approach your goals? Example, I was taught to identify the object goal and work back to where I'm currently at, identifying the steps and obstacles along the way. Provides me with a roadmap, so to speak. What is your techniques? Okay. X11, I appreciate you so much. Let me say this. I don't even know. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. After everything I've been through over these last few months, I don't even know what I'm doing with my life right now. I really love being an educator and being with these kids. And I want to keep that focus. I love doing this with you guys. But as a career path, I can't keep doing both part-time, I got to figure something out. So when it comes to making a roadmap, I mean, I'm not in my 20s anymore. It's like I can't figure it out. I have 3 degrees. I graduated cum laude from a university, and I still can't figure it out. And I'm struggling, So, hey, not everybody figures it out in their 20s. And I guess that's okay. But there's so many different things that make me happy. And right now, I'm struggling with my career path. I am happy to be here with you guys again on a Friday night. So that's absolutely very, very important to me for sure. Let's see what else. I think we had. I guess we just have one more question. Justin did ask, when you come back, would you be able to do a video on leg side tattoo insert variants and how they compare to Mark Jeweler variants? Haven't seen any comic book YouTubers touch on this. Yeah, man. Very similar. They are a very similar entity towards Mark Jewelers. I think they were a late bloomer next to Mark Jewelers, but I'm seeing some of the random issues with them in it start really like, what was it? Fantastic Four. I forget the number 206 or something like that. I mean, in a higher grade, I mean, that's a $20 to $30 book now just because of those inserts. So it's definitely something. And I think that's definitely something to keep looking at for sure. Yeah. So good stuff. Vinny, what's going on, man? Hanging out in the chat. Guys, this was good, man. This was good. I hope you guys got something out of our conversation tonight. Obi-Wan, I do believe there's some truth in that with DC, but I do believe it's a shaky ground that they're walking on still. And I want to say one last thing, guys, before I go tonight. Comic books aren't valuable just because of movies and TV shows. We need to remember that. And the reason why we added more value to comics because of movies is because we really went into those movies, loved what we saw, and came out of it with the eyes of a child and wanted to go relive our memories, to go back to those LCS and find those comic books with those characters. Not because we get an announcement of an actor of Frogman and then we go spend $25 for a freaking 50-cent bin book for a couple of months before we even see the character in the show. There is no nostalgia there. There is no real care for that character. We have been brainwashed and brain damaged to think, oh, they're showing up in a show. They're showing up in a movie. That means ding, ding, ding. We got to go FOMO out on that book because it's going to be worth money. No. No, no, no. Have restraint. We are grown adults, most of us, and we got to do better. We got to hold ourselves accountable. We got to regulate ourselves to regulate this industry, because I know that the industry is evolving, and unfortunately with evolution and with change, there's changes that we don't want to adapt to. But even with those changes, comic books are not going away anytime soon, and we still have a beautiful hobby to enjoy for a long time. It ain't going away in our lifetime, that's for sure. So I want you guys to remember that. We're going to keep up this conversation, guys. Funky Artist, appreciate you. Oh, man, Steven, I'm sorry. That sucks. You can always leave a comment, and I still am trying to get back into reading all my comments, guys, and everything. So, but appreciate you guys. This was good. So, if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's been tough. I do want to say I'm fighting algorithms right now everywhere I go, on Whatnot, on YouTube. Everything is so based on algorithms. And because I had I went through hell these last few months in my personal life, and I didn't know I was going to come out of it, but I did. And because of that, all these online platforms are so ingrained with their algorithms, and I'm losing subscribers every day. And I think that's YouTube dropping them off. So if you guys want to keep supporting me, just come watch the lives, watch the videos, subscribe, click the notification bell, hitting the like buttons, leaving comments, getting the views. All those things will help get the algorithms back on, because I guarantee you a large majority of my subscribers aren't even getting my notifications anymore. It's horrible. Whatnot, I can't even sell a $10 book for $2 on Whatnot because I'm pushing my sales in the algorithms anymore. Got 5 people in my sales because I stopped selling for 4 months. It shouldn't be all based on algorithms, but that's how it is. And I'm not sitting here asking for a handout. I'm just sitting here asking for the support. I come here and everything I do is basically for free, you know. And you know, with the little money that I make from you know, from ad revenue and the few, you know, Patreon supporters that I have and the channel members that I have, appreciate you guys so much. And I always try to give you guys your money's worth. Other than that, you know, I got 13,000 subscribers that get everything that I do for free. And all that I ask of you is, you know, watch the videos, like, thumbs up, leave some comments. Hey, you need me. Let's have a conversation. You know, share the video, be involved, keep coming back. I appreciate you guys so much. So right on. I'm hearing you guys talk about EGS right now too. That's much love. All right, guys. I'm going to go get my son. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a good rest. Have a good weekend. And remember, be safe. Do not drive drunk. Get an Uber, get a cab, walk, or hit me up. I swear to God. I swear to God. Be well, guys.